with myself, Joe Tanzi, Ryan Beef Coyle, and Mark Henry Jr. Two of us were very happy with how week 2 played out. Hello, everyone, and welcome on into week 3.
Off and running here on a beautiful October day on the main line, and a good afternoon, everybody. Fox Sports Radio Philly Road Show at Villanova Homecoming, presented by Friends of Nova. Bring it on in. We got ourselves a day of programming for you. We're streaming live on socials and, of course, on Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia. I'm Sean Brace, joined as always by my right-hand man, Mr. John Jansen. He does it all. And, folks, we got a special guest right from the jump because we're going to talk all things Villanova athletics across the board. And Steve Pannone knows a thing or two about a thing or two when it comes to Villanova athletics, including today. He's on the call for today's game, Villanova in New Hampshire. Steve, great to have you. How we doing today, sir?
Doing well, Sean. Good to be here with you. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got football weather. We got a beautiful day. It should be a lot of fun out here, as you'd like to say, on the main line.
Yes, exactly that. John, of course, you guys have been rocking out all season long with the Coach Ferrante Coaches Show at various Drexel Hills all across the Delaware Valley.
Various Drexel Hills.
Yes.
Various
Pete's, excuse me.
One of them happens to be in Drexel Hill.
Yeah, it's one of those every once in a while. Yeah, exactly. One Drexel Hill, exactly. All right, so here's the deal. We are going to set the table. We're going to be joined by special guests representing Villanova athletics across the board. Kyle Neptune, you might know of him. Head coach of the men's basketball team. He's going to be sliding by here in about 10 minutes. The great Whitey Rigsby is going to be joining us.
We were told not to bring him on. We already were requested not to put on Whitey Rigsby. Which sounds about right. It was in record time. About 5 seconds into the show, he said, no Whitey.
John, you can just turn his mic down when he comes over.
Yeah,
no one listens to him anyhow.
I got all the power over here.
We got head coach Denise Dillon. She's going to be joining us from the women's Villanova basketball team, and Randy Foy, of course, president of Friends of Nova. He's going to be coming by as well. So this is a great day of Villanova athletics. We're celebrating across the board. Main reason why, homecoming, number one. But number two, men's basketball team gets started officially tomorrow with a scrimmage against Robert Morris right here at noon. You're going to catch all of the action, pregame coverage tipping off at 11:30. So a big day of Villanova athletics. Steve, I want to start with you. It's my first time here for homecoming. I'm liking what I'm seeing, sir.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, we got a beautiful day. We're back here in the A2 parking lot behind the pavilion and behind the stadium. It's filling up as we speak, and it should be a good day. You got two good football teams, too. Two football teams that did not play well last week and really need a win today. So it should be a good game and a lot of atmosphere around it. Like I mentioned, beautiful fall weather.
Oh, yeah.
A lot going on campus. It should be a lot of fun.
It seems like Villanova weather. It's a little windy.
A lot of wind.
Pound the rock.
Yeah,
pound the rock all game.
A lot of David Abbott today. I think he's going to run the football a little bit. I think you see Connor Watkins kind of pull it and make some running plays. And, defensively, talking to Mark Ferrante this week, and John, you were there at the show, really wants to make New Hampshire one-dimensional. Stop the run. It's cliche in football, but that's how you got to do it. You got to stop the run, make them one-dimensional, then try to get after the quarterback a little bit. And I do think you're going to see a hungry Villanova today. After last week, just the whole first quarter, you see they give up a long pass play, get a kick block for a 70-yard scoop and score. They get a sack fumble on the 9. They give up 2 scores under 25 yards in a scoop and score, and before you move, it's 28-0. And then you're just climbing uphill the rest of the day.
And this is a big-time game as far as the conference is concerned because it is crowded at the top of the CAA. Both squads coming in today 2-1 in conference. New Hampshire 4-3 overall. And last time these two teams met last year, Villanova got the best of them 45-33. Hopefully we get some fireworks just like that. Any chance, Steve, we toss up a 45 spot today?
I wouldn't count on that. No, I'll take a 25 spot.
Okay.
That should be enough for us today. I think, the passing game has been inconsistent throughout the year. Just, 6-year quarterback in Connor Watkins, but a lot of new receivers, some redshirt freshmen, some grad transfers. So the passing game is the one element that has not kind of clicked yet for Villanova offensively. They can run the football really well, but like last week, you get yourself in a hole and you got to start throwing the ball. And then you got a young offensive line. The D line's pinning their ears back. That's not a good recipe for Villanova right now.
All right, so we're going to talk a ton, all things, of course, football that's going off today. We got basketball that's ready to get going. I can't wait to talk to Denise as well, Coach Dillon, about what Villanova ladies got coming up. Their season fast approaching, I think, on the 10th against Wake Forest.
It should be a good opener. Them and Wake is a good.
Yeah, that's a good game to start off the season, that's for sure. But I have to bring this up. So I was doing a quick Google search before, getting ready, and I'm like, all right, I want
show prep. They call
it
show prep.
He doesn't know what that is. That's foreign to him.
I got him. That's a good one, huh?
That's it.
John fed me that one before we started. So just so you know,
I'm coming right back at you because. So
I got my papers here. Let me start fumbling.
So I throw Steve's name into the Google search, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's right. He's on the call today. It's awesome. And the next thing you know, the bottom one that popped up was your son on Twitter, on X, on social media.
Very active.
So your son
he's in the parking lot. If you want to talk to him.
That's great. So
he'll take your seat.
The tweet that popped up was, oh my goodness, this is unbelievable. The Yankees are going to the World Series.
I raised him right.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there it is.
I grew up in Connecticut.
Okay.
I'm a Yankees fan.
Yes.
My son grew up in Philadelphia here, and he wanted to eat. So he knew he needed to root for the Yankees.
That's it.
And I almost hate to say it, but the Giants. We're more proud of our Yankees right now, even after last night, than we are our Giants.
Yeah, you can be proud of the Giants.
I'll tell you a quick story. He goes to like 4th grade. It's Eagle Spirit Day. And I send him to 4th grade in a Jeremy Shockey jersey.
Come on.
And he does. So he comes home. And he's like almost in tears. He's, Dad, they're picking on me. They're killing me. All the kids are killing. They stole my lunch money. I go, it builds character. Yes. Don't worry. We're going to win a Super Bowl before they did. We won 2. Now the Eagles won the last one.
Yeah, the Eagles continue to steal the Giants' lunch money. Yeah. So that's good.
Well, I have to bring it up because, Steve, that game last night from, guy in the middle, no skin in the game. What a baseball game. World Series game 1 just delivered and then some. I know tough loss for the Yankees, but Freddie Freeman in that spot. Going to Cortez, staying with Cortez, your thoughts?
No, it's funny. Yankee fans, not huge Aaron Boone fans for the most part. I think I'm going to Tim Hill there only because he's been so good. You got him up. Now there's a choice to make. You got 2 lefties up. Tim Hill's been so good in the playoffs for us against Kansas City and Cleveland. Nestor hasn't pitched since I think it's the 17th of September. I think I want Nestor to pitch in the 6th inning. Get his feet wet. Get him not facing 3 soon-to-be Hall of Famers, Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman. He gets Ohtani on 1 pitch. They walk Betts, right call in my eye, 2nd and 3rd, go to the lefty-lefty matchup, and Freeman takes the first pitch and hits it like 450 feet.
Was it a gut feel? Was it a gut feel for Boone?
I think so. He said he liked the way he threw the ball in the last couple of weeks. I go on what my eyes saw. I mean, Tim Hill's been great. Yeah. I know you guys probably weren't following the Royals-Yankees playoff series, but he was great out of the pen in both series.
Well, what a game it was, and I think we're going to have a pretty good series to go along with game 1.
Dana O'Neill, who works with us now here at Villanova, huge Yankee fan, and we talked about what they got to do. They got to split, win a series, and then split again. So then you win it 4-3. So we'll keep our fingers crossed.
All right, Steve, of course, we're going to be hitting all things football. We got head coach Mark Ferrante. He's going to be coming by. Can't wait to talk to Coach before the game here. But I got to get your take on what's coming up, fast approaching with the men's basketball team, and a lot of expectations, as usual, with Villanova. We have a friend that's in our Gambler gang, and that's the name of the radio station, just so everybody knows, Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia. And he's a diehard college basketball guy. He's a junkie. Like, it could be June, and he's tweeting about it, talking about it. And he's like, I want you to ask Coach Neptune this, because the Big East, it's never been easy.
No.
But would you say it's probably the most difficult conference right now to improve in, with Connecticut at the top, and you got Patino now, Marquette, the list goes on and on.
And I think, Sean, you could talk about it for the last 35 years in that regard. Every league has an up and a down year or two, but you look at it right now. Chris Holtman gets hired at DePaul. They've been a team towards the bottom of the league for you. That guy he was really good at Butler. He'll be really good at DePaul. Ed Cooley did a great job at Providence. He moves over to Georgetown. They've been down to the bottom of the league. They're not going to stay there. He's going to start getting players in. He's going to build that program up. Kyle Neptune now in year 3 has an opportunity. He's got 9 new faces. Try to mold those guys together and make a move in the league. But you mentioned Danny Hurley's the best coach in the country right now. He's won back-to-back national championships. A lot of people think he can win 3 in a row, which just hasn't been done since John Wooden and UCLA.
Crazy.
So it's a great league. Sean Miller's got a really good team. A lot of people don't realize he had 2 kids out. Fremantle was out last year. Another big kid inside was out. So they bring back some good guards, and they're going to get their returning front court. Marquette and Shaka Smart's been really good the last few years. So the thing that shocked me of all was the league only getting 3 teams in the NCAA tournament last year. And Seton Hall showed everybody they won the NIT. They should have had 4. St. John's probably should have got in. It should have been a 5-team league.
Yeah. There's Coach Neptune right there. So, look, perfect time, perfect segue. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick time out. We're going to set the table. We'll come right back, and we'll get Coach Kyle Neptune to join us on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Folks, it's a celebration of all things Villanova athletics right here on Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Well, first of all, the Burlington-Bristol Bridge has completed a lift bridge opening. You're going to be a little slow for a time as we recover from that earlier opening. Meanwhile, big jam-ups continue across the entire span of the Ben Franklin Bridge, leaving Philly into New Jersey. 1 lane available to you here, all tied in with construction. And because of this construction on the bridge, you are jammed solid the entire length of the Vine Street Expressway coming off the Schuylkill all the way into and across the Ben Franklin Bridge. Eric Herr, Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
With its new look and taste, Dasani is always crisp, clean, and refreshing. So, when thirst calls, answer with the new refreshed taste of Dasani water, now without salt. Learn more at Dasani.com.
Sometimes where a crime took place leads you to answer why the crime happened in the first place. Hi, I'm Sloan Glass, host of the new true crime podcast, American Homicide. In this series, we'll examine some of the country's most infamous and mysterious murders and learn how the location of the crime becomes a character in the story. Listen to American Homicide on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search American Homicide and start listening.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No. Call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com. Once again, coming to you live, Fox Sports Radio Philly Roadshow at Villanova Homecoming, presented by Friends of Nova. And Friends of Nova, Randy Foy will be stopping by a little bit later, the president of Friends of Nova. Can't wait to talk to Randy about all things Villanova basketball. But folks, let's get that conversation going, because right here, right now, this is the right place. We got the head coach of Villanova men's basketball team, the one and only Mr. Coach Kyle Neptune. Great to have you, Kyle.
Thanks for having me.
What's happening?
I'm great, fellas. Great to be here.
My first Villanova homecoming.
All right, awesome. What do you think?
I love it.
It's gonna be a regular.
Great weather.
I'll be back.
I already put it in the calendar for next year.
There we go.
Big one for you tomorrow, Coach. First scrimmage against Robert Morris coming up at noon. Can't wait to see Mr. Eric Dixon back out on the floor again.
Me too. We're so happy to have him back. Obviously, a guy that's been an all-league player the last couple of years, but more than that, he's just the backbone of our entire program. So we couldn't be more ecstatic to have him back.
He really could be 90% of your games the best player on the floor.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. You look at everything that he does. He's the highest. There's no one better than him in the post in college basketball. He's a great catch and shoot guy. He's when he drives and gets past people, he makes great decisions. He's just a high level player. He does so many things on the floor.
Coach, what are you looking to get out of tomorrow? You got 8 days before you're really good after it against Lafayette, but you're looking at different lineups you want to use as a head coach. So when you go and break down that film at, say, 2:30 tomorrow, what do you want to see?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we want to play harder than them for 40 minutes, and that's always our goal. We want to defend and rebound at a higher level, at the highest possible level. So, and we want to get it in their heads that we're playing 40 minutes and we're playing as hard as we possibly can for 40 minutes. So, that thought process and that mindset is what we're working on, no matter who's in the game, and we got to start to build that.
Coach, as far as some of the new bodies, the transfers, who should we be excited? Let me ask you that. Who's the one that's jumping off the page at you a month in with practice right here, right now? Give us one name that we should all be paying attention to once the season gets going.
Out of just the transfers?
Yeah.
One name?
Yeah.
Enoch Wooger, Chris, and Tyler Perkins. Is that? I try to say it quick. Is that
It's one long name you gave us.
There was just one name.
Nice.
Yeah.
Crushed it. Excellent.
All seriousness, I think all of our guys are coming. It's not easy when you're a transfer. It's very different from being a freshman. Freshman, you got a lot to deal with. It's the speed, the physicality of the game, how advanced the game is at this level. When you're a transfer, it's just as hard. It's an adjustment period because you've been in college. You have habits. You've competed at this level, and it has been different. So now you have to unlearn all those habits and get new habits. You have to unlearn all that terminology and now learn new terminology. You had your sweet spots. You knew where you were getting your shots. You knew the defensive rotations, and now you have to unlearn that stuff. It can be a challenge. So I think our guys have done a great job.
Well, I know we're all excited, and it doesn't get any easier for you because you just landed an unbelievable recruit, Dante Allen. A lot of hype coming up. I don't know if you could talk about this. Can't? No?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I didn't think so.
Give it a couple weeks.
I was wondering about that. Anyways, just as far as how difficult it is, because it's nonstop for you. It really is.
Yeah, you know what? I choose to think about it this way. Everyone thinks about it different. Everyone handles their life differently. I choose to say, this is what it is. We have to do at Villanova, we're going to do our best possible job and execute every single day as a coaching staff. And that's why we attack it. That's how we attack it. Everyone's dealing with the same things. Everyone's dealing with the transfer portal, with NIL. Everyone's dealing with that stuff. How are you going to deal with it? Can you make it the best it can be at your specific institution? That's what we're focused on.
And Coach, it seems like I don't want to say hype, but all the talk comes to transfers coming in, or obviously new freshmen. Let's talk a little bit about a couple other returners and how they're doing, because I think for the most part, hopefully they're healthy. Jordan Longino and Nana and Joko, 2 of your seniors that are coming back, been in your program for 3, now in their 4th season. How have they been doing so far preseason? One, hopefully they're healthy, and then how are they playing for you?
Yeah, Jordan, for the first time ever, has gone through an entire summer and off season. He's been healthy. He's been great. He's shooting the ball. He's always been one of the best defenders. He's a versatile offensive player that can do a little bit of everything. We're expecting big things from him this season. Nana has always been a guy that plays extremely hard and kind of the heart and soul of your team in terms of just bringing a positive attitude and intensity. Unfortunately, he still has been plagued with a couple injuries here or there, so he won't take part in our scrimmage. But, we are looking forward to big things from him this year as well.
Coach, I got a question from one of our coworkers. He goes by the name of Beef. He eats, sleeps, and drinks college basketball.
Yep.
All right, this guy will be texting in June. Doesn't matter. He wants to talk about how difficult the Big East is and how UConn is at the top. You got Rick Pitino now back. You got Marquette holding it down. To get Villanova up above UConn and running for championships, what's it look like in the future for you for this upcoming season?
I think for our program, we think like this. We want to compete to win Big East championships, right? If we feel like if we're competing to win Big East championships, we're right there because the Big East is the best college basketball league in the country, top to bottom. Oh, yeah. So if we're competing to win Big East championships, when we get to the tournament, that means we're right there to compete for national championships. So that's always our goal. Now, how do you do it is the hard part. And how we choose to do that is to focus on each day and trying to get better each day. In this current climate, you're thinking about getting for our team, 8-9 new guys on the same page. Get them understanding what we're looking to do. Get them to understand our terminology. Get them to understand how hard we want them to play. And then from there, once they have that understanding, getting them to play hard every single day and get better every single day, and focus on that. Focus on getting better every day. Focus on each individual day, and then you keep stacking those days. And hopefully, you're the best you can be by the end of the season. If we're the best we can be by the end of the season, that gives us our best chance.
Yep.
What that is each year, I don't know, but that gives us our best chance.
And Sean, Coach mentioned, if you can win the Big East, you're playing for national champions. The Big East has won 4 of the last 8 national champions. So 50% of those have gone to the Big East Conference, and not necessarily the team that's won the Big East during the regular season or the tournament. That's how deep and strong the league has been, certainly since Kyle's been here and for many, many years.
Yeah, it delivers top to bottom. You're right about that. All right, Coach. I know you're a busy man, and you brought a lot of attention. This is great. Can't thank you enough for stopping by here. We're excited to have you. It's a celebration of all things Villanova athletics, of course, homecoming. Big day for you tomorrow. Opening up, scrimmage, taking on Robert Morris. Once again, a tip-off coverage will start for us at 11:30 right here on Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia. Coach, we're here. Obviously, football team's about to take the field coming up here at 3:30. You're a Brooklyn native, right?
100%.
Are you a Yankee fan?
Listen, while living in Philadelphia,
You're sitting next to a Yankee fan. You can
what I
admit it.
do right now, I am a sports fan.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I am a
Good
sports
answer.
fan.
Yes, good answer.
I cheer for sports.
Nice.
All sports. So
I asked him to having fun. I was like, well, if you ever suited up and played football, what position would you play? And it's just funny because you're like, yeah, I grew up in Brooklyn. So nothing but basketball, maybe stickball, baseball.
you know what? Yeah, my last football down was, I believe, in middle school.
Okay.
2-hand touch in the schoolyard. I think I was the quarterback at that point.
Nice.
So I was an option quarterback. I was a runner.
I
So,
love it. Love
that
it.
was my last time playing.
They like today, we could use you. We're going to do a lot of running in this
A lot
win
of
today.
running with the win. Well, Coach, can't thank you enough for stopping by. Unbelievable season in front of you, and we know you're going to make the most of it. Everybody in Nova Nation is fired up for this upcoming season. So good luck, continued success, and keep getting those big recruits.
Thanks
wink,
so much,
wink.
guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Coach.
it.
Appreciate
Thanks,
your
guys.
time.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're the best. Kyle Neptune, once again, joining us right here. Villanova homecoming. Wait, so let me just bring this out. So Kyle just stepped away. So he can announce he's coming to Villanova, but we can't talk about it? What does that work?
He hasn't signed his well, actually, they're getting rid of the letter of intent, but he has not signed, and you can't talk about a
He
recruit.
showed his
It's
shirt.
college athletics. What do you mean? Everything's backwards.
You guys can talk about it.
Yeah,
Coach can't.
Coach can. All right. Yeah. Hey, he pulled down the shirt. I'm like, I'm pulling it up. I'm like, oh, this is
All right,
great
you guys like
recruit.
the shirt or the hat trick? Which one do you like better? Where they come with the hat behind
Oh,
it?
the hats are classic. I like it.
Now, here's the ultimate question. Are you one of those, do you like the fake? Do you like, no? Or see, what he did was just pull the shirt out. I kind of like
The
that.
best ones are when they don't tell the parents what they're actually going to do, and then the parents get upset. You can see them like visibly upset in the background from a choice.
Well, this young
That's
man,
what I like.
This young man's.
I don't think they were upset about this.
This
one.
young man we're talking about, I'm not sure I'm allowed to talk about because I work at the university,
Yes.
but his mom and dad both went to Villanova.
I think they were happy
And-
about
and
it.
And I got the coach's dad while he was here when he was part of our program.
Oh,
So
that's great.
I think they may have slightly nudged their young fella maybe to make the right decision, which we think he did.
I love those conversations when it was like I was looking over and I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't bring that one up. Whoops, we'll keep that one moving. All right, folks, you heard me talk about Friends of Nova. As a matter of fact, this broadcast was presented by Friends of Nova and the official NIL collective of Villanova Athletics, uniting the Villanova community to support its talented student athletes. Friends of Nova offers Villanova student athletes a wide range of opportunities to engage in NIL activations and bridges the gap between tradition and innovation. They need your help out there to create a new era of success for Villanova student athletes. Visit friendsofnova.com and get involved today. Steve, pretty important, right? Like I was making the joke to him this morning. I said, put Kyle to the side. Like Randy's probably up there with his importance.
Oh, it's huge. And Kyle spoke of it, and we're going to have Coach Dillon on next. She'll say the same thing. She'll echo those comments because it always say the recruiting is the lifeblood of college athletics. Well, a big part of recruiting now is NIL.
Yeah.
And, and Villanova has a unique way to do it, but, it's not going anywhere else. It's going to be here forever, and we have to ingratiate it, grow this program. Randy and his staff have done a great job, and we're in a great situation, but can always be a little bit better, and you're always trying to grow and improve. Just like we talk to coaches, that's what they're talking about with their teams. We want to get better every day and improve. and be the best we can by the end of the year.
Yeah, and you mentioned it's unique how Villanova does it. I mean, this is all new, and everybody's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Tony Bennett seems like he was having a pretty tough time in Virginia figuring it out, and a lot of colleges are.
Yeah.
And the Friends of Nova and the unique way Villanova is doing this, and Randy Foy leading the charge.
Yeah, I think
it does seem very good.
I think for Tony too, John, the thing that really got to him, and we can talk to Coach Dillon when she comes on, is the transfer portal. Like he had a program, they run a very specific style and a very specific system that takes 2 and 3 and 4 years to really learn and master. And he wasn't able to do that with this group anymore because he'd have a kid for a year and they move on. He'd bring in an undergraduate, say a sophomore or junior, and they only had a year or two to figure out his system. I think that might have been more of it in his case than the NIL.
All right. Well, without further ado, if Coach wouldn't mind joining us here, ladies and gentlemen, we are all over it right here. Once again, celebration of all things Villanova athletics, and joining us live from homecoming, the head coach of the Villanova women's basketball team, Coach Denise Dillon. Coach,
thank you.
Great to have you. How we doing?
Doing great. It's
Yeah.
great to be here. Homecoming is always a good time, so happy to be a part of it.
Lady Cats starting up on November 10th against Wake Forest. That's a tough opponent.
Yeah, that's a very tough start.
Yeah, that's what we did. To this point.
Sounded good in the spring, probably, right?
We sure did. We put together an incredibly challenging non-conference schedule, and we started down there at Wake last year. Got a big win at their place, so they're coming back up here to open up the season. So it's going to be wild.
One of the questions that I have for Coach Neptune, and I'm going to start right with this with you, is because of the transfers and how important they are as far as the portal is concerned. Could you talk about a new player or two that you were able to get for your upcoming team this season that you're excited to see on the floor for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel each player that we brought in is going to impact this season, and that's the positive piece of the portal, and finding the right people who fit, the Villanova culture, but also can excel there on the court and lead us to where we want to go. Brona Power Cassidy, player of the year in the Patriot out of, she played there at Holy Cross and just had 2 championship years under her belt. So she knows what it takes to be successful and what needs to be done. So her leadership has been tremendous this early in the season for us at practice and a couple exhibitions. And then Laura Edmondson, another grad transfer out there, Santa Clara. So just their experience alone really helps, but getting it from each and every one. Jalea Green down in Missouri, and then you had Ryan Allen. We want to get back on the floor. She's out for a little bit, but from Vanderbilt. So our players that we brought in fit what we do. They know what we're doing, why we're doing it, and are extremely selfless. I want to see they have the green light. I'm telling them, take those shots, but they're going to get there when they're more comfortable with their teammates out on the floor.
You said that's probably that leads me into one of my questions too. Is what's been the most difficult thing in terms of transitioning in these new players? Because you have a group of freshmen as well. I'd like to talk about. You guys had a little secret scrimmage yesterday with GW. First, talk about the adjustment for the transfers, and then if you could, maybe a little insight on your scrimmage from yesterday.
Yeah, I would say the adjustment for the transfers is just the camaraderie with their teammates and this group on the floor. This group, luckily, they connected quickly off the court. We had the opportunity to go to Italy in the summer, so we had that foreign tour, which was instant team building and bonding chances. But on the floor, just knowing what your teammates want to do, who's a slasher, who's a spot up shooter, the post options. So just getting to know each other, and that's our responsibility. Put them in those positions, prepare them at practice, so they're ready for that. And then, as I said, their experience certainly helps them, and that's what we're telling them. Be confident in your ability, and then your experience can make up for some areas that you may not be familiar with the opponent at this point. Just some of the tendencies will help you there and guide the young ones.
Coach, what do you do with preseason rankings? Do you even pay attention to them? You're 6, so do we just call it a day? We don't play this season. Is that what it is?
We found it interesting because there was something in the summer they were talking about it, the Big East, that something came out and said we were 7th. So we did something right from summer until now to move into the 6th spot. So we're just going to continue to look to move up. This group, I had Danae Carter, Caitlin Oriole, and Maddie Burke up at the Madison Square Garden for Big East Media Day. And you could just see it in them. I said, what are your thoughts here? And they knew it. They said, we got a lot to prove and we're willing to do it. So I like their attitude going in, and they just know that stuff's irrelevant. It's how you finish.
Coach, you mentioned the Italy tour this summer. Tell our listeners a little bit more. So you get 10 days of practice before you go. How many games did you play? And
Sure.
what's obviously the benefit is a cultural experience for your team, but also the benefit basketball wise.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're fortunate to have our players here in the summer to train and work with us and take some classes to get ahead, get acclimated for the new ones, transfers and the freshmen. But you have those full practices leading up. So that gave us a real taste of what the season looks like, having a week and a half of practice, getting over there in Italy and playing 3 games against 2 of the 3. It was really good competition. The one, say, is friendly game, but it gave us a chance, everyone to play, be out there and be comfortable. So great opportunity. I said Villanova always does it right. Just that the touring, the experience was memorable, lifetime filled memories for each and every one of them.
Coach, last year 22-13, 11-7 in the Big East. What do you hope to improve on this year moving forward?
Yeah, I would like to be better earlier.
Okay.
That was the difference of us not making the NCAA tournament. We were on the bubble there, but we need this group to be ready to prove themselves early and just make a statement. If we're going to wait, you want to continue to get better, of course, but if you're going to wait until January, February to show what you are, you're going to miss your opportunity.
Well,
here comes the band.
Here comes the band.
Here comes
Couldn't hear
homecoming.
that.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Coach, the fans here.
Sean, you going to sing your fight song for us or what?
Yeah.
For those of you who can't see them, Sean's got his V's up. He's pumping it up. So got an honorary alum today, I think.
Great crowd.
It is
Great time. Beautiful weather. Little windy, but it's kind of it's still up there. The flags are ripping, so I won't say that. But at least we're not losing
don't jinx it.
our canopy over here. We got Will E. Caddies fired up. The boys. Here comes the football squad walking through. This is a great scene up here on the main line. Once again, celebration of all things Villanova athletics this weekend. Sean Brace, John Jansen, Steve Pannone, and we're joined by head coach of the Villanova women's team, Coach Denise Dillon. Coach, this is great. Talk about the fans that are supporting your team right now, right? And then women's basketball through the roof continues to raise every single year the attention.
Exactly.
A little bit more on that, please.
Well, I'll tell you, it's thanks to you guys. We say it's people come out and watch when they know what's there to see. So just recognizing it and supporting it and you talking about it, media here. So I've been extremely pleased with the growth here at Villanova, the support that we've gotten. This particular year, we've already broken the record from last year's season ticket sales. So it just continues to grow, and it's on the national level. So you're seeing it across the board. And you put a good product out there, people are going to come watch. So keep talking about it, guys.
Absolutely.
Denise, I don't know if you follow the professional level, WNBA, but the growth there, and I don't know if we want to get the whole Caitlin.
Oh, I love
and all
it.
that,
I love it.
Who's that?
Talk a little, just I guess the growth of the game. The growth of the game from obviously when you were a great player here, say the mid '90s to what it is now.
Oh, it's unbelievable. As I say, it wasn't talked about. It was the growth in the game in the support in the 90s of the full scholarships and, just providing the opportunity for women. It was like that's where it was being established. And then you could see it each and every year get better, the TV coverage. But the WNBA, they have to be on cloud 9. You see the growth of it with the expansion. But just with some of those individual players, there have been great ones throughout the course of the last 20-some years. But even just Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, these players who are on the brink, Sue retires and Diana. But thankfully, you have even better players coming in and taking that next step. So it's not just the recognition of fan base, but the game itself, how it continues to evolve and grow.
And how has that kind of evolved with maybe the way you're even coaching your team as well? Because Caitlin Clark logo threes are certainly a thing now. And so how has that kind of evolved over the years?
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting with our players, like seeing at this level, their awareness of if they don't have that range, they don't have it. You're seeing it more in the high schools where those players think, oh, for sure. It's like the Steph Curry effect that it had on men's basketball. The young kids are going into the gym and they're starting their shots from the logo, from half court. So it will balance out for those young ones to stay solid with their fundamentals. But just the recognition of you talk about versatile basketball. You want players to feel that they can play a number of different positions on the floor. And I think that's what you're seeing in the game. I mean, we could talk about Caitlin Clark's shooting ability. Her passing is
She's incredible.
Remarkable.
Yeah.
And, we really date ourselves where you say like Pistol Pete. You talk about players like that.
Yeah.
That's who she is, like for the women's game right now. So the game doesn't change. You don't complicate it. You just, be the most efficient player you can be in different areas of it. And she's one who is really showing that.
Coach, well, we're excited for this upcoming season. I know you are.
Yes.
Of course, you're tipping things off once again. A little early afternoon delight against Wake Forest.
Yes.
I think 2:30 start time.
Yeah, so we'll be playing that afternoon. We're excited about it. We've got to pack the pavilion there, get everyone in the fin.
I love that. Afternoon basketball against the North Carolina
there we
basketball
go.
school. That's
Let's
a heck of
go.
a way to start the season.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, Coach, thank you very much for stopping
you.
by. Enjoy the rest of the day here.
Yes.
A lot of attention on you and, of course, your team this year. So continued success, and we'll be cheering you along all the way. Thank you for stopping
Thank
by,
you.
though.
Go
Once
Cats.
again, yes.
Coach.
Once again, Coach Dillon stopping by. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, he's bringing gifts. He's
Bringing,
He's really
throwing gifts.
bringing gifts.
He's really good off
sharp.
mic. He does a good job off
That's
mic. I've
sharp
always
right
said that
there.
about him.
The great Whitey Rigsby. He's going to be joining us here soon. I'm ready. Coach, thank you. You're the best. Awesome. Thank you very much. Well, why don't we do this?
Look at
Let's
this.
take a timeout. We'll come
Sean's
back.
got to put his Villanova gear
Yeah,
on. That's why we need a
get this
timeout.
on.
I already
gotta
have
get
my
this
Villanova gear on.
Yeah,
Come on,
John
Bryce.
Jansen's representing. He works over here as well. All right. Once again, we are live. This is the Fox Sports Radio Philly Roadshow at Villanova Homecoming, presented by Friends of Nova. You're not going to want to go anywhere. Whitey Rigsby will join us. We're going to go 4 wide. All right. We're also going to be joined by the president of Friends of Nova, and that is the great Randy Foy, plus other special guests.
I think we might get a head coach of our football program in here
that's
somewhere, too.
right. Yeah, Coach
You can fit us into that
I
schedule.
can't believe he's sliding by before the game. It's going to be great. All right. Don't go. More from Villanova Homecoming back after this.
Moments like my daughter telling me a new joke mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Every 4 years, the world watches. Every corner kick, every save, every pass. The world watches its most beautiful game played at its highest level. And for a moment, the world stops turning for soccer. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026, supporting possibilities turned into achievements on the biggest stage. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. member FDIC.
With its new look and taste, Dasani is always crisp, clean, and refreshing. So, when thirst calls, answer with the new refreshed taste of Dasani water, now without salt. Learn more at Dasani.com.
What's the best place to reach new customers for your business? Wherever they are. And that's exactly where you can be with iHeartMedia. We talk to our listeners everywhere, from the car to the gym to the kitchen. Your next customer is listening. And not only can we get your message to your audience, we can also show you how it's working in real time. That goes for broad brand messaging and targeted hyperlocal influencer campaigns alike. Start growing your business today. Dial pound 250 and say great results. That's pound 250, say great results.
Halloween's coming alive at Target. Jackie and Gordy, the Jack-O-Lanterns, here with a front porch view of Target's Halloween deals, like Best House on the Block trick-or-treat candy starting at $5.99.
Sweet. Don't forget, can't wait to wear it costumes from $15.
Can't wait to see it. Oh, and decorating and pumpkin carving kits for $5.
That's how I got my big toothy grin.
This week only, trick-or-treat candy starts at $5.99, costumes from $15, and decorating and pumpkin carving kits for $5. Make your Halloween come alive at Target. Restrictions apply.
Order for Jennifer C. Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Broadcasting live from Villanova Stadium. You are listening to the Fox Sports Radio Philly Roadshow at Villanova Homecoming. Presented by Friends of Nova. Now, here are your hosts, Sean Brace and John Jansen.
Oh, yes, indeed. You heard the man. This is the Fox Sports Radio Philly Roadshow live at Villanova Homecoming, presented by Friends of Nova. Randy Foy, the president, will be joining us a little bit. Head coach Mark Ferranti will be joining us as well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, don't do anything. Stay where you're at because we're running 4 wide. We got Steve Pannone hanging with us still, and the great Whitey Rigsby joining us right here on the broadcast from the Homecoming. Whitey, play-by-play announcer. Of course, everybody knows you, loves you. How many years you been doing this, Whitey?
This will be 45.
45. Amazing.
How old are you, Sean? Like 38?
I wish. Keep going up.
Don't flatter him.
Hey, John, my guess is if it was raining, there's a good chance Sean will be back,
back
in the studio, right?
Because it's a nice day.
Exactly.
There's food apparently here for him. And
We
he
got-
gets
we
to
hang
roll out
out-
the red carpet.
He gets
for
to hang
him,
out with
so.
us.
We got giveaways. Willie Cat.
When it comes to the
Willie
real
Cat
grinding.
is hanging. Look at this guy. I love it. I'm sure he's happy it's getting a little cooler now. How you doing? Let's go. Big win today. Whitey. Watch the cameras, though, but you're all right. Whitey, great to have you. How's the off season been?
It's been great. I'm looking forward to another season of Villanova basketball. I love Mark Ferranti and the Villanova football.
Of course.
I follow Denise Dillon and the women's basketball team very closely. I was on the pitch this morning watching the soccer team. So
nice.
Jack of all trades, master of none. I guess you might go there. Steve Wood.
Are you the real Villanova mascot?
I'm just trying to be quiet for this second.
He won't let you talk.
Exactly. He and I talk once in a while.
Well, Ryan doesn't let him talk.
I know that.
I'm sorry,
he's
John.
gotta
You
get
noticed that, haven't you?
That is true. You're right about
I
that.
did the game last week with Ryan. I'm well aware.
Ryan's the best.
I needed Ryan to help me out for the pregame show. We got to do around the conference, and I hit him up. I said, "Would you be able to?" Oh, sure, I got you. I got you. No problem. Yeah, exactly. All right, Whitey, let's talk some men's hoop here as far as Villanova basketball is concerned. I'm excited about Eric Dixon. I feel like he's going to be the best player on the floor. And like I said, the coach Neptune, probably 90% of the games.
Yeah, we hope that's true. We're thrilled he's back. 6 years. He's a Villanova guy through and through now. The fact he came back for this year. Additionally, he's one of the best players in the Big East Conference. Was voted, preseason first team All League. He will be one of the best players or the best player in the court most of the time. It'll be a little interesting this year with Eric because I think he's probably going to play a little bit more of the 4 spot.
Yeah.
So play away from the basket a little more, have to guard away from the basket a little more, and will be guarded by more athletic wing players. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops. But again, he's a cerebral player, smart player, great leader, and I think that's what this team really needs. Will get this year in number 43.
Well, it all gets started basically tomorrow with the scrimmage at noon. Of course, you'll be able to hear Whitey and Ryan on the call at 11:30, tipping off pregame coverage, taking on Robert Morris, and the season will be fast approaching right after that. So, look, Villanova, of course, Big East. We were talking about how difficult the conference is, and it's always like that year after year. But it's a little different when you got UConn doing what they did the back-to-back seasons.
And I think UConn's going to be real good.
Yeah.
Period. Right. But I think the rest of the league, top to bottom, from 2 to 11, is improved. Has gotten better, and that's what you have to be worried about. I mean, I don't know that Connecticut's going to win another championship. I don't think they're that good, but they're very good, very, very good. But the other 10 teams, I think, have improved. Georgetown, DePaul are better than they were a year ago. You look at the coaches in this league, and you have a lot of big-time coaches in this league that know how to coach and know how to win. So I can't wait till December 17th, our first Big East game. It's just been an exciting year in the league.
One player coach talked about that I was kind of excited about is Jordan Longino. He said he's coming into the season healthy and actually getting a good offseason. I mean, I think what we're seeing now in college basketball, yes, transfers are good, but guys that have stuck around, guys that have played a lot of basketball are getting better later in their careers. What do you expect from Longino?
Well, and also, as a sidebar, Villanova historically has been built on development of players. Mikal Bridges was not a top 100 player, and now he makes a couple of dollars in the NBA, and he's a starter, has played 500 straight games or something. And historically, we've done that. Well, when you only have a player for a year, it's hard to develop him too much. Jordan now has been here 4 years. He has been injured a lot, but I think now in a leadership role, along with Dixon, I expect big things from Jordan Longino. I think he can play on the ball some, and I think he can certainly play off the ball. He can defend and shoot the ball. I know they have high hopes for Jordan. Again, he has to stay in between the lines. He has to stay on the court.
And John, to your point, one thing that doesn't get talked about enough, we talk about NIL and the transfer, is retention. The teams that are going to be able to retain the majority of their roster year after year are going to be the ones that are more successful, because then you get that second and third and fourth year with those guys in your system, and that's when you develop good teams. And that's what UConn's done very well. They grab a transfer here and there, but they retain 3 of their 5 in their main core, and then they just add pieces around it. And I think what you're going to see, the teams that retain most of the roster are going to have a lot of success.
And very simply, why that's also important is the fact just about practice. You think of the drills you run in practice. Well, if 10 guys have no idea what the heck that drill is, the other 2 guys have to show them. But when you have 6 and 7, 8 guys come back, those 2 or 3 guys can follow the first 6 or 7 or 8. Yeah. And it makes a big difference in practice, in the efficiency in practice.
It just allows you to move a lot quicker to get your sets in, get everything else
Sure.
in when you have a group that's been through it.
Sure. One thing, we brought his name up a few times, Coach Hurley. I was kind of hoping, I think we all were, that he was going to take that Laker gig.
He was never going there. That's a North Jersey guy. He ain't moving to LA.
I think that was a financial move for Hurley to just put it out there. Maybe.
Obviously, who wouldn't want to be enticed or can be enticed by the Lakers job?
It's got to be fun.
And everyone wants to be wanted. And I never at one iota I thought, well, Danny Hurley at the Lakers, not going to happen.
Jersey,
the Nets or the Knicks. Sixers, somewhere on the East Coast, maybe, but not LA.
Yeah, that was a fun
Could you imagine Danny Hurley talking to NBA officials like that, the way he does college, and yelling at them the way he does? I don't know if I could see that.
He's hard to watch sometimes.
Yes.
I've heard that comment or two during a broadcast.
I talked to an official one time about his brother Bobby's the same way. I said, what's going on there? Father coached forever. He said, he's worse. I said, whoa.
Wow.
That's hard to believe.
That's saying something.
He's worse, so.
Well, we're excited. Obviously, we're here at the Villanova homecoming, and it's a twofer. We got a football game, a big football game coming up against New Hampshire. Steve Pannone will be on the call, NBC Sports Plus. Is that what it is?
Yeah, we're on NBC Plus today, also Flow. So it should be a good one. It's a big game for us. I mentioned it's huge for both teams. Both coming off disappointing losses last week. New Hampshire fell to Rhode Island at home. Villanova, we know, went up to Maine, didn't have a good day. So it's going to be important for teams to get out to a good start. You can put up a 10-0 lead. That's going to be big, I think, especially because it is a little breezy around here. I'm not how sure you're going to be able to throw the football like you want to.
Those young running backs have to get out and go.
Yep.
Everybody loves to talk, and I want to bring this up with you, Whitey, in just a second as far as all the cats in the NBA, but I want to talk about a cat in the NFL, and I don't know if there's multiple, but Christian Benford has made an unbelievable name for himself with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, it was like week 4 or 5. He was the top-rated cornerback in the NFL. I don't know if he still is. This is going back probably 2 or 3 weeks where I saw the statistic. He was the top-rated cornerback in all of football, and it's incredible. They knew it when he was here. They say this kid's going to probably get drafted. I don't think they knew he was going to be day one a starter, and now trending towards an all-pro. He's had a great run. Tano Passanio's been hurt. There's another guy in the NFL. Jalen Jackson's on a practice squad as well. So there's some guys you can do it from this level. And Villanova, obviously, everyone knows about Brian Westbrook with his great career with the Eagles. It can certainly be done from this level, and Christian's doing it right now.
Yeah, there was an article I read yesterday, and it was show prep, Steve.
And
John, for once,
John told me he doesn't do any of that.
Finally, he starts doing that.
What just happened when he shows up?
Now when he does the show with me, he just expects me to do it all.
And the one guy was like, I didn't even know Villanova had a football team, and I was what the guy said.
He living under a rock?
Well, he's from Buffalo. Yeah, all you need to know there.
Yeah, okay.
Let's talk about the cats in the NBA. Jalen Brunson just taking that next step and being almost a finalist for the MVP. I think people are definitely on him this year to be the MVP. Only a couple games into the season. Whitey, are you surprised at the growth and the step that he has taken?
I think as an NBA player, yes.
Yeah.
I think because you think of who the great NBA players, they're way athletically talented. They're tall, they're long, they're lean. He ain't none of that, right? But he's cerebral off the charts, and that does it for me. He has great old school moves in and around the basket. I mean, he's 6'2", maybe, and he probably is as good a post player as there is in the league. I think things like that. He shoots the ball well, but what is understated is how hard that kid has worked since the time he was 10 years old. You see videos of his father chasing him down, things like that. He works really hard to this day. He's a great leader of that team. The fact he has some other Wildcats around him is a wonderful thing for us.
Yeah.
But Jalen Brunson is a terrific player, and he's a winner, and he's won his whole life.
He's so clutch.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Villanova drama, though. Dante DiVincenzo and Rick Brunson. What was that all about? That was fun.
Every family has
It's all
a
love. Yeah, I love that.
It was
Some
fun.
smack talk. It was a lot of fun. I love that.
I was definitely disappointed to see the move made. I know we all were. And it was interesting because I think, there were a lot of naysayers. And obviously, I'm a diehard Sixer fan, so I didn't want to see the Knicks have success.
Still are?
But
easy. I'm a New York guy.
For the Sixers. We'll get into that later. Maybe we don't want. We'll just get rid of him.
I just thought, if you can build a team like that and they showed you, give them another opportunity. Roll them out there. I don't think Dante will ever play as good as he did last year.
Yeah, Sean, that's a great point because the college basketball and the NBA basketball and women's basketball, there's such a premium on shooting. And what Dante did, he just opened up the floor. You saw Jalen doing all those things because no one's helping off of Dante. I'm not a pro basketball guy. I don't watch a ton of it. But Karl Anthony Towns is not – I know he can shoot threes, but he's not bringing that spacing that they had last year. And Dante was able to just flourish. And the Knicks flourish because they have a guy like that that's just knocking down everything.
And that helped Jalen Brunson so much because the floor is spread. He can get inside more.
Yeah.
You're right. Kareem Towns is probably the best. He's probably the best. Karl Anthony Towns is probably the best three-point shooting big guy in the league.
Sure.
But he's not stepping out 2 feet beyond the three-point line.
Yeah.
But they lost Hartenstein. They needed a big.
I like Hartenstein.
Yeah, he was solid. He was solid. I think
he knew his role. He played his role. And
those guys love Hartenstein
guy just rebound and kick it out. And, he's just a great role player. And then, they couldn't afford to keep him.
No, you're
NBA.
right. I think he got hurt already, too,
Did
if
he
I'm
really?
not
That's a
mistaken.
shame.
Yeah.
Dante?
No,
Hartenstein?
Hartenstein. Yeah, down there in OKC, I want to
Those
say.
guys loved Hartenstein.
Whitey, great to have you stop by. I can't thank you enough.
I was about to say the same thing to you. Great to have you stop by, John.
Sean, before we let
No
him
more
go,
mean things about Ryan Fannin, by the way.
Sure.
This year,
Sean,
so.
before we let him go, if you don't mind, what do you want to see tomorrow? What are you looking forward to?
I tell you,
It's an exhibition game, obviously, against Robert. We put your Division One
Sure,
game.
good, really good, very good question. Believe it or not, I talk to him all day long, every day. He never ask me good questions,
Because I never get a good answer.
The most important thing I think is to see how well this team. That's again, you talked about a lot of new parts. Again, we have 6 freshmen. We have 2 really returning players that played at all last year. One was hurt most of the year. How well they played together, how well they play as a unit on both ends of the floor, and who's out there that can space the floor? You talk how important shooting is. Who's going to be the one making threes for us this year?
Yeah, is that the biggest question, the backcourt? How they kind of all fit.
Our concern, we've talked about it a little bit once or twice also, is when the little guy from Sal gets off the court. Brickers. I mean, who takes his place? He's not playing 40 minutes a game.
Longino. There's not a lot of point guard depth.
Yeah, and we'll see. And that's why I'm hoping Longino can step into that role and play 10, 12 minutes a game with his hands in the ball. We'll see. That'll be important.
Well, of course, we're excited. That goes without saying. It is going to be another epic season of Villanova men's basketball season right here on Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia. And, of course, Whitey Rigsby, play-by-play. Color. Yeah, because play-by-play is joining us in a second.
For about the couple of minutes you can hear him on the broadcast.
Do we all leave when Ryan comes? How's that work?
I'm not color commentary. I'm just color because the commentary would take too long to say.
Whitey, thank you for stopping by. You are the best, my friend. Can't wait to hear you tomorrow on the air. The great Whitey Rigsby once again. Let's go. The legend that is. Color commentary. Come on, slap me upside the back of the head, would you? All right.
I already do that enough.
Once again, it is the Fox Sports Radio Philly Roadshow live at Villanova Homecoming, presented by Friends of Nova. Big hour coming up next. We're going to be joined by the head coach of the football squad, head coach Mark Ferranti, and Randy Foy, president of Friends of Nova, will be sliding by as well. On the other side, the play-by-play announcer. I'm sorry for getting that wrong. The great Ryan Fannin. Cats win. I want to hear it again today. So hopefully we will be hearing it.
We all do.
Yes. We need it.
His 6 favorite words? Is that what it is?
Don't go anymore after this.
Moments like making my kids my famous meatballs mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative NBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
What's the best place to reach new customers for your business? Wherever they are. And that's exactly where you can be with iHeartMedia. We talk to our listeners everywhere. And when we say listeners, we mean 9 out of 10 Americans monthly. From the car to the gym to the kitchen, from the morning commute to evening ride home. Your next customer is listening to the radio, to podcasts, to us. And not only can we get your message to your audience, we can also show you how your ads are working in real time. That's right. Not only can audio give your business the lift you need, at iHeartMedia, we can measure as we go, so you can see the impact and know exactly what's working. This goes for broadband messaging and targeted hyperlocal influencer campaigns alike. Your next customer is listening. Start talking to them and start growing your business with iHeartMedia. Call today, 833-IHEART-U. That's 833-IHEART, letter U. Dial 833-IHEART-U.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Action News meteorologist Peyton Domschke. We've got bright skies expected again today, but the winds kick up, and that's all associated with the passing cold front. That'll start to knock our temperatures back today, but I think you'll see more of the reflection come tomorrow. Highs today in the mid to upper 60s, while tomorrow a lot of you fall shy of 60 degrees. I think the city of Philadelphia may hit 60, but nonetheless, still cooler come tomorrow with a lot of sunshine to go around if you're searching for some October warmth. That's back in the forecast by the middle of the week as we approach 80 degrees for your Halloween.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The slow-roasted Cantina chicken menu is here to stay with ingredients like purple cabbage and freshly prepared pico de gallo. Try it today at a participating U.S. Taco Bell location while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
It's the Daily Ticket with Sean Brace, 3 to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday.
Talk to Mark Henry Jr. on a Friday because we got ourselves a big game for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I think we'd be favored by 3 if it was in Philly. I think these are two pretty close teams. And I know that maybe gets people riled up, but since he's 3-4, they had a close loss to Kansas City, and Baltimore game pretty close as well. They blow that one. I have less of an idea about what happens in this game than maybe any of the last 3 years. You could tell me that Burrow comes in, he gets rid of the ball, quick passes, shredding us up. Jamar breaks 1 or 2 slants, takes him to the house, and they just score way too much. And the defense, Bengals defense, definitely vulnerable. You've seen them get picked apart in games. Last 2 weeks, they've played a lot better. So maybe Lou Anarumo has figured it out. So, yeah, you could tell me the Bengals blow us out in a similar way that the Bucs did. You could tell me that the Eagles show up and we're like, man, the Eagles should have been favored. Look at the only reason we're low on them is these games without AJ and Lane and Devontae.
If you can wager on it, we're talking about it right here on The Gambler.
Station, baby.
Your home for Villanova basketball is WDAS and WD273D, Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia. Broadcasting live from Villanova Stadium. You are listening to the Fox Sports Radio Philly Roadshow at Villanova Homecoming. Presented by Friends of Nova. Now, here are your hosts, Sean Brace and John Jansen.
Yes, indeed. Once again, you just heard the man. Fox Sports Radio Philly Roadshow at Villanova Homecoming, presented by Friends of Nova. Bring it on in for hour number 2. Still running 4 wide. John Jansen with me. Steve Pannone, who is just an absolute ace. He's heading up to the booth. He'll be on the call, NBC Sports Plus. And you know who else will be on the call? Yeah, we're running 4 wide right now. Play-by-play announcer, the legendary Mr. Ryan Fannin joining us right here. Cats win. Cats win. Cats win. Do you know that call? That call, honestly, is legendary. When I think of Villanova hoops, I just think of Cats win. I just think of that call.
What do you call, Ryan, your 6 favorite words?
If you don't end a post-game show with that, it's a miserable drive to Virginia. I can tell you that much for starters.
I was sitting next to him in Maine. It didn't go well. That was a long ride.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I heard you guys had a very long bus ride. Yeah.
Yeah. Bus. Oh, yeah. That's
we flew home. The
No,
bus
flew
getting to the
home,
airport
but the
was
bus
a
getting to
problem.
the airport. Oh, yeah.
Ryan, great to have you. Thank you for stopping by. Of course, you're going to be on the call today and tomorrow. Hoops season, getting ready to go. What year for you, sir?
27 play-by-play and 32 football.
Excellent. Excellent. You and Whitey, great booth, of course. And tremendous to have you on our airwaves right here at Fox Sports Radio and, of course, Villanova Sports Radio Network. All right, Ryan, let's talk about this game. This is a big game. You know the CAA better than anyone. It's crowded at the top. Both teams today, 2-1 in conference. It goes without saying every game is important week by week, but you got to get this one, especially after what took place last week.
Yeah, and it's critical at so many levels, but you start to maybe have a different mindset a little bit where you're, instead of where we've been at the top, you start to look and say, okay, well, what's happening now with the 2 teams that are still undefeated in league play? And Rhode Island and Maine are in a tight one, 7-7 right now in the second quarter. We'd love to get some help from Maine today and see if they could knock off undefeated Rhode Island from a conference play perspective. Rhode Island overall is 6-1, but that'd be a great help around the league today if we could get Rhode Island to get knocked off. Now I'm driving up, and I shouldn't have been doing this, but I had to peek and see the early Richmond Bryant score because we need Richmond, who's also 3-0 in the league, to lose today, and Bryant went up 7-0 early.
Hey, now.
So about an hour later, I checked back, 41-7 Richmond at halftime. So the Spiders aren't going to help us today, but I think the Black Bears might. But as that old analogy says, you got to help yourself first. New Hampshire coming off a loss, Villanova coming off a loss, 2 very proud programs, so much history. You think about the coaches, you think about Chip Kelly, you think about Ryan Day, you think about the legendary Bill Bowes that was there for 27 years. Then Sean McDonald came to New Hampshire, and now an opportunity for Ricky Santos, who's a 3-time All-American, won the Walter Payton Award 20 years ago, and now he's running the New Hampshire program. I think we're going to get the best of the Cats today for both teams. And I think for Villanova today, it's going to be how can the biggest thing that stands out, how can this young offensive line hold up against probably the best overall part of this New Hampshire team, and that's their front 4 in their 4-2-5 defense.
And Sean, that really didn't get talked about enough right last week. Maine's defensive front did a really good job against us. Once they got that lead, they knew we had to throw the football, and they pinned their ears back, and they got after Connor Watkins pretty good. They had the strip sack inside the 10. To Ryan's point, that's going to be a big challenge today. We got 3 freshmen on that offensive line that are going to have to hold up against a very good pass rush today, and that's why it'd be great if Villanova could run the football early in this game, be effective, manage the game a little bit in terms of score, get up a score, get up 2 scores, and then be able to just pound the rock, and that's going to be probably the recipe we can have Coach Friday a little later that he's going to want to bring to this game.
Yeah, definitely a little wind out there. It's tough conditions to throw the football. Ryan, obviously, like you said, been calling Villanova football and basketball for a long time. Homecoming weekend, you just feel the buzz in the air. Is this the most passionate crowd you see year after year homecoming weekend?
It's tremendous, and it just brings back so many memories. I remember when Villanova won their first Yankee Conference championship.
Wow.
Pat Kennedy and Jeff Johnson. They called him the presidential backfield back in 1991.
That's great.
And Villanova beat New Hampshire. They won the Yankee Conference championship, what was now, 91. So we're going back 33 years ago. And Andy Talley, that was the first time he won a conference championship. what would end up being his Hall of Fame 32-year career at Villanova before he retired in 2016. So many memories. I remember the game in 1997 here when Villanova went undefeated during the regular season, was leading Youngstown State 21-0 in the quarterfinals of the playoffs here, and lost an absolutely the single most painful loss in the last 3 decades, in my opinion, was when Villanova lost that year in the quarterfinals 37-34 to Youngstown State. Youngstown State went on to win the national championship. That was a team that was the best team in the country, and they just got caught that day.
I'm funny, Ray, you bring that one up. I remember that I was coaching basketball at the time here, and I was out here for the first half, and then we were playing Seton Hall. I don't know exact time, but I had to go in at halftime. So we got this. We're good. And Youngstown State with Jim Tressel came back, and was the final 35?
37-34.
37-34.
Heck of a program.
And it was an undefeated regular season, and then we finally got him back last year in the playoffs. It took a while, but then we got him, and we beat him in the opener this year. So we got 2 in a row over Youngstown State.
You bring up playoffs. I still look back at our 2009 national championship season, and it felt like the perfect season.
The snow game.
Exactly, because the only loss that year was a road loss at New Hampshire. And who does Villanova get a chance to play in the quarterfinals of the playoffs in a snowstorm that Steve just mentioned? New Hampshire. And we destroyed them. It was like 46-7 or something like that. And then, of course, Villanova went on to beat William & Mary in the semis and then beat Montana down in Chattanooga to win the title. But so many great memories. New Hampshire, I'll give you one more. Brian Westbrook, 1997. He was a freshman, and he scored a late touchdown in that game. And Villanova had a come-from-behind win against New Hampshire here. That was part of that 11-0 undefeated season, a November win many, many years ago.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about last year's game. I thought that was Villanova's probably their most complete offensive game of the regular season. It was a game we hadn't won up there since, I think, 2010. It was the wrong run and this great rivalry. And then Villanova just played a really good football game. Every time New Hampshire came back and scored, Villanova had an answer. And I thought that when that game was over, I remember coming back from Durham and saying, this is a really good football team, and they proved it from there on out.
Quarterback Brosmer was so good. I mean, he transferred to Big Ten Minnesota, and then you got Dylan Laube, who's on the active 53 for the Las Vegas Raiders right now. They had 2 tremendous weapons last year, and we had to sort of win a game, a high-scoring 45-33. And in that game, the key also, New Hampshire had 4 turnovers in that game. And we just to win by 12, we needed a lot. I mean, it's really hard to win in New Hampshire, and that was a special win last year and a special team last year. And people forget, I mean, South Dakota State beat the other 3 playoff teams about 500-0.
Yeah.
And Villanova was in an 8-point game at the beginning of the 4th quarter at South Dakota State last year. And the one thing that we could have attacked them was our downfield pass game. And there was 45-mile-an-hour swirling winds.
Not quite like,
It literally eliminated our passing game. I'm convinced, looking back, that on a day without wind, that was our day to take them out. And unfortunately,
and throwing
it
a couple
didn't
of
happen.
special teams miscues on our
Correct.
side.
Yeah, and the passing attack with the wide receivers kind of getting along this year. How do you think that is progressing? And is it progressing enough to a point where maybe that can be used a little bit more? I know last week they kind of had to because of what happened in the first quarter. But how has the passing game kind of come along?
Well, Coach Bowden, I just sat down with him 30 minutes ago, our offensive coordinator, and he said, we can't get into where we become a drop-back pass team with our young offensive line. We need, and today, because Isaiah Ragland is back at tailback, along with Abbott and then Jabril Mace, 3 young guys, they're all ready to go today. And we need to establish that run early today, because to put that much pressure on our offensive line with Temi Ajura-Tutu out for the year on the offensive line, that's going to be, I think, a big thing to watch today. Can we establish the run early? Because our passing attack right now is struggling, and we need to be able to have that balance. And if we can get the run game going, it can set up the play action to go up top.
One more thing to watch, too. I think Jabril Mace is going to return kicks today. He's probably the fastest player on Villanova's roster.
Let's go.
So he's a guy, I think, in special teams that maybe can make a play for us today. And, when you get 2 close teams, 2 teams that are really fighting for something, sometimes it's special teams. We saw it last week. You get a blocked field goal that they scoop and score for 70 yards and just turn the whole game around.
Well, It's going to be rocking. It's a great crowd here at homecoming weekend at Villanova, and a busy weekend for Ryan Fan. And Ryan, I know you're in football mode right now. Could I squeeze a basketball question in for you for tomorrow?
Let's go.
All right. I know Whitey was just here, but I know that we can get plenty of hoops talk from you as well. Coach Neptune, he's got a couple new players. He was talking about how excited he is. I can continue to come back to Eric Dixon, the big man, but just how difficult the Big East is. It all gets started essentially tomorrow with, the scrimmage against Robert Morris at 11:30 tip right here on our airwaves. But just this upcoming season, a lot of pressure, a lot of conversation happen, outside noise, put all that to the side. Kyle Neptune knows what needs to be done. They got to win some basketball games this year. Your thoughts on the outlook of this season?
I think one of the big things when I look at the team is how can Brickus really make this team go, because we need to get that consistent leader that you can say, this is the point guard that is going to make our offense go. Statistically, defensively speaking, we were a pretty good team last year. We were just obviously very inconsistent defensively. Obviously, Dixon coming back and Poplar getting those two late were enormous. And now I think we have enough to have an NCAA tournament team if everything comes together. And it's an exciting opportunity, I think, Poplar and Dixon, I think, changed everything. And remember, we didn't have that all solidified until late with the transfer portal early. It was looking like, what will our roster look like? And I think our roster played out to be a roster that can do some work. And look, Steve knows UConn better than anybody because he's from there and he knows the Big East inside and out. But I just can't imagine UConn is even close to as good as they were the last couple years. I know they're going to be preseason, where they are top 5, and they're going to be a tremendous team. But Villanova at the Big East Media Day was picked 7th. I think Seton Hall's going to struggle this year. I think Georgetown's not there yet, and I think DePaul's not there yet. So I think 9, 10, 11. But you start talking about Villanova picked 7th, and you go all the way up the ladder. Maybe give UConn the edge just because they are the 2-time defending national champion. I don't know if there's a massive difference between the second team and Villanova, who's picked 7th, for example. So I think it's not like one of those years where you're like, these are 4 or 5 rock-solid teams. I think we can make a move, and I think our 3 non-conference games against Cincinnati, Maryland, and UVA are going to be huge. We need to get 2 of those 3.
No trip to the Bahamas this year for you. Are you upset?
Well, that was awesome because not only did we beat North Carolina in overtime on Thanksgiving, I've been doing this for a long time, as you know, and I got to bring my whole family to the Bahamas. It was one of the best weeks ever. And
that was one of their more successful trips. That was a great stretch of basketball.
They beat a really good Texas Tech team who started. No one really talked about because then the next day, as Ryan mentioned, they beat Carolina in overtime, and then just dismantled a Memphis team that was playing really well up until then. Had a good run. They kind of fell off in January and February, but you had a lot of good vibes. But to Sean's point, it just tells you how demanding and difficult the Big East is. We started, we get a great win out of Creighton. I think we started 3-0 in the league, and then you just every Wednesday and Saturday or every Tuesday night and Saturday, it's a war. Every game becomes that difficult, and if you can't find consistency, to Sean's point, that's the problem. And Ryan mentioned Jameer Brickus, who's going to be the point guard, and we don't need him to score a lot of points. What Villanova struggled with the last couple of years at the point after losing Colin Gillespie was decision making. When to get the ball to the right guy at the right time, when to pass, when to shoot. Those kind of things. Jameer Brickus has played a lot of minutes at LaSalle over his 4-year career. He's a well-seasoned veteran, and I think his decision making is going to help this team a lot.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to sit down with Dana O'Neill for a couple minutes, and that's what she was discussing. Excited to have that back this year.
Here's another name that I think that when he came out of high school, he was such a outstanding shooter coming here. He's had the injury problems. I'm probably more excited about Longino and the opportunity here this year to see what he can do for us. I think he's a very talented player that just hasn't been able to really stay healthy enough to see how good he can be. You want to be an NCAA tournament team, Villanova, I think Longino could be one of those X-factor guys.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Tournament team. That's what it's all about.
You need your seniors to play like seniors.
Yeah, you're right about that. Well, gentlemen, I believe the head coach of the football squad will be joining us here in just a second, Coach Ferranti. He's squeezing us into his busy schedule.
Yeah, we might have to fit him in. He's got some stuff to do in the next hour.
Yes, Coach.
Yes,
great to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right here live from Villanova Homecoming at the Road Show, our first one and definitely won't be our last. The head coach that's going to lead Villanova to a victory today against New Hampshire, Coach Mark Ferrante, joining us right here. Coach, great to have you.
Appreciate it.
How we feeling? How we feeling?
Feeling good. We're feeling good. We'll find out in a few minutes. About an hour from now, right? We'll find out.
You need me to go in there? I could call heads or tails. If you need me to go in, I can go with the coin flip.
Well, you know, we got this.
Whitey's going to help you out.
We got this wind here. Yeah, I can hear you. I'm sitting right next to you. I don't know why I need the headphones on,
That's
but
all right.
that's okay. I guess in case Steve wants
It looks
to say something.
official. Yeah,
He's
exactly.
so far away.
That's
Okay.
it.
We
That's
do this
it.
every Tuesday night, so we know how to do this.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Yeah, we got a little wind out here today, so we'll see what happens on the coin toss. But it is what it is, man. We'll either defer or we'll receive. You know, it's not that hard to figure out.
Coach, we were talking about how crowded the top of the conference is. Two teams coming in right now, 2-1. New Hampshire, of course, yourself. Every week is important, but of course, to get to the conference championship game, get to the top, you got to pull up today's victory, correct?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You got to take each week one at a time.
Yep.
You know, you hear coaches say it all the time. Let's
Yep.
go 1-0 this week. Everyone says the same coach speak. But yeah, the more each week and each later you get in the year, it's going to be more and more important. So you got to come out on top today, and we got to go out there and execute well in all three phases of the game. So this league, we say it every year. Throw the records out the window. You got to be ready no matter who you're playing.
Now, I know you know these two gentlemen over here. Last one for me, of course, what took place last week. I heard Bill Belichick say this a couple weeks ago. He would almost rather his team lose than pull one out like a close victory because you get the attention of your team. What was the environment this week after that tough loss last week?
Yeah, let's get back to work. The guys approached the week well. That was one of those games that kind of steamrolled on you in the first quarter. There was a lot of things that went wrong, but let's give the opponent, Maine, the credit for making some of those things happen. You know, they're out there to win the game too. You know, so they made plays that we didn't make in the first quarter. They ended up putting 21 on the board with only running 7 offensive plays because of the special teams mishap. So, you know, sometimes you just have one of those games. And, you know, I don't care what the score is, you know, whether it's 10-7, whether it's 35-7 or 135-7, a loss is a loss. So we got to get back. We got to get back to work, which our guys did a good job with this week. We had to get back into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice with the right attitude. And we'll see how they respond today. It's all about their response today.
Coach, we talked a little bit about you got a young group on your offensive line. I know you spent many years here coaching that offensive line. Probably New Hampshire's strengths probably up front defensively. How do you feel your guys are ready to take on that challenge today?
We just need to get back to being who we are. You know, last week, because we got behind so fast, and, you know, especially after they scored the opening drive of the second half, now it's 35-0 with only a quarter and a half to play. They made us one-dimensional. So we've got to be able to have a balanced attack, running and passing. Our run game right now is our strength. Then if you run the ball well, they'll start loading up the box. Then you can hit them with some RPOs and little play action. And then if they get a little anxious and get their eyes in the wrong place, maybe you could hit a big play down the field in the passing game. So we have to be able to have a balanced attack, which last week we weren't able to accomplish.
Coach, let's talk about defensive side of the ball and just give us some thoughts on where you see this defense now as we head towards late October.
Well, our defense is where our strength is. I mean, they gave up that big explosive play last week in the opening drive. But when you really look at what else happened throughout the course of the game, they had a 24-yard field they had to defend and an 8-yard field they had to defend. So it was 21 points, but not a lot of yards. They didn't really, go up and down and have their way, except for that that first drive in the second half. They did control the ball there on us a little bit, but our defense is our strength, and our guys are doing a great job over there. Now, hopefully we'll be able to create some turnovers and give us the short fields and, the extra possessions and so on, like we gave to Maine last week. But our defense has been pretty stout all year. So we're looking forward to those guys responding well as well.
Coach, can't thank you enough for stopping by. You truly do have a busy schedule. Yeah, we're kicking off in about 60 minutes, but I'd love to get you out of here on this one. The fans, homecoming weekend, the passion, you could feel it. Doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah, no, this is great. So, number one, welcome back to everybody. A lot of alumni, a lot of our former football playing alumni. Yesterday, we had the opportunity to have Brian Westbrook and John Celestin two of the former greats to play here at their respective sports. Obviously, Westbrook, third-round draft pick with the Eagles. Walter Payton Award winner was here, set like 46 school records. And then John Celestin had a great message with our team last night. He was drafted by the Lakers when he came out of here from the basketball program, and he was telling us stories about when he was out there with Kobe Bryant and so on. So tremendous to see the amount of activity we have here on campus with our alumni group. We got a lot going on today. I'm wearing this sweatshirt because the Be Positive Foundation, Andrew McDonough's fight against childhood cancer. So we have them on in today. We have a couple of their people from that organization as our honorary captains. And we do a ton of stuff. This place is about community. It's about service. Our guys do a lot of stuff with team impact and athletes helping athletes, all these foundations and organizations, and it's about giving back. So we're here today. We're going to go out there and obviously play a game, but we're excited to see everybody here enjoying the afternoon.
Well, we talked about a couple coaches who have great programs, and you absolutely have a great program right here. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Head coach Mark Ferrante. Coach, good luck today. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you, man.
Go
Appreciate
get him,
you
Coach.
having me.
Go get him. Great. Whitey's being the producer behind the scenes. He does it all. He does it all, Steve and Ryan.
No, he does.
Well, Whitey's always got a joke.
Hey, John, Sean, excuse me. John's putting his headset in, but he does a terrific job. He's so understated, Coach Ferrante. What he's done, he's been here. He's a lifer, like 35, 36 years now. 30 years as the offensive line coach, as the associate head coach. But the kind of kids he brings in every year, quality kids. He's got a great program. Won 2 of the last 3 CAA titles. Can't find a better guy and a better representative of Villanova University.
It's funny you said it because I have it on my notes. Trey Thomas, former Eagle, 11 years with the Birds, has a son, I believe, at Lehigh. And we told him about our partnership, of course, rocking out with Villanova for the last few seasons. He's like, oh, man, I tried to get my son there at Villanova. Like, he was, I love Ferrante. I love, his offensive line. And so, and it's the truth because you hear a lot of people talk about the program. Great program right here in the main line.
And just to echo the sentiments of what Steve just said, Coach Ferrante's always around everything, like the other sports. Here's the head football coach at Villanova, and he goes to not men's basketball games, not the women's basketball games. He goes to all sport. He literally is everywhere. And, he lives that community that he just talked about and that Steve mentioned. I mean, he's everywhere.
Yeah. It seems like, from afar, it seems like a lot of the head coaches and the respective sports do that. It really does,
Ryan and I are both alums, but that's what Villanova is.
Yeah.
We use the word community a lot, but we always say there's a lot of nice buildings around here, but this place is all about the people. And Mark is just one of those people. Denise is one of those people. Kyle is one of those people that you just want to be around. You gravitate towards that. There's just a pull at this place that brings everybody together, and we're seeing it out here in the parking lot today. That's what brings everybody back. That sense of community that they shared for their 4 years while they were on campus.
Excellent stuff. Well, we're going to take a quick timeout. Can't thank Coach Mark Ferrante stopping by right before the game. That's a first.
Yeah, what does he have to do today?
That's a first. 60 minutes till kickoff, and he's hanging out with us. I'm asking him questions. I love it. All right, once again, we are live right here from the Villanova Homecoming. This is all presented by Friends of Nova. This is Fox Sports Radio Philly Roadshow. Don't go anywhere. Randy Foy's going to be joining us as well, plus other special guests. They're around. I'm hearing whispers that B West might even slide by. You never know. We're hanging, though. Villanova Homecoming right here. More after this.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
For starters, if you're traveling southbound 95, big clog up here continues. You're crawling Allegheny down through the Vine Street Expressway, all because of right lane construction. Now, meanwhile, if you're traveling on the Ben Franklin Bridge, big delays eastbound continue. That's from Philadelphia into New Jersey. Huge tie-up here because of right lane construction. This, in turn, is backing things up considerably the entire length of the eastbound Vine Street Expressway. Eric Herr, Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Only at Lowe's, MVP Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500. Discount on eligible product only and reflected in quote. Restrictions apply. See Pro Desk for details. MVP Pro Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms subject to change.
Order for Jennifer C. Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
With its new look and taste, Dasani is always crisp, clean, and refreshing. So, when thirst calls, answer with the new refreshed taste of Dasani water, now without salt. Learn more at Dasani.com.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No, call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com.
The Gambler, Philly's home for all things sports gambling. Broadcasting live from Villanova Stadium. You are listening to the Fox Sports Radio Philly Roadshow at Villanova Homecoming. Presented by Friends of Nova. Now, here are your hosts, Sean Brace and John Jansen.
Well, we're still running 4 wide. We got the great Steve Pannone and Ryan Fannin hanging with us. Of course, nobody knows more about Villanova football and basketball than these two gentlemen.
Yeah, instead of like Stump the Schwab, can we do a Stump the Fannin with Villanova trivia?
No shot.
There's no way.
No
There's
shot.
nobody in the world that can do that.
Steve, what do you say to that?
My money's on Ryan.
Yeah.
I was going to say you
My
would
money's on Steve. I
was
want
gonna
him by
say
my side. When
Steve
I
would
get
be
a
a
little
second.
shaky on a couple ones.
Ooh.
No, together we'd be a pretty good team.
I don't drink, but when I used to, I was really good at like those minutia bar games.
Quizzo?
Like,
Yeah,
I was killing it. I was killing it back
Wow.
in the day.
I'm
getting a
terrible
little
at
old
trivia.
now. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I'm ever on a game show and I have a phone a friend for a Villanova category, I'll have to flip a coin between who I call. That's great to know. All right, once again, we are live, Fox Sports Radio Philly Roadshow at Villanova Homecoming. Villanova, New Hampshire, coming your way. Pre-game coverage kicking off in just about 30 minutes. Where Ryan and the great Kevin Riley as well will be on the call coming your way right here on Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia. Ryan, let's get it back over to the game, man. Let's talk a little bit more about this matchup. Let me ask you a big picture, though, as far as this season, how it's going right now for the Cats. And we talk about great programs and what Coach Ferrante has been able to do year after year, essentially making the playoffs. Does team have that look in your mind right now?
Yeah, I think this could be a playoff team, no question about it.
Okay.
To me, it's a matter of we need to keep this home streak going.
All right.
This program's won 12 straight home games. I mean, the last 3 of the 22 season, all 6 last year in the first 3. So you look at the home games remaining. New Hampshire today, North Carolina A&T, that might be the weakest team of all 16 in this conference, in the biggest conference in all of FCS. And then Delaware. Delaware showed a lot of vulnerability last week when they got beat by Richmond, but I always feel confident against Delaware. You don't beat somebody 16 out of 18 times if you're not in somebody's head. And we, in a close game, we always find a way to win against them, and then either that or we just beat them handily like we have a lot of years. And I was having some fun with somebody. They said, what do you think about Delaware moving up to FBS? And I said, well, they can't beat us. And if they make the move, which they're going to, I can't imagine they would ever play us again. Because
nothing to gain
why
for
would
them,
you
yeah.
play a team
Yeah.
that's FCS if you're FBS and you couldn't beat them when you were an FCS? And that's why I want to get the Hens so bad
Yes,
one more
give
time.
them one more loss on the way out.
I don't want
Love
them
it.
to have, let's say, hypothetically, we don't play them for a long time. I don't want them to have that feeling because during the COVID spring, they came here and they finally beat us. And they caused a scene at midfield on the V after that game.
That game was in the spring. It don't count.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
But my point meaning that rivalry, it will be greatly missed.
Yeah,
but we need to get the Hens one more time. We need to take care of business at home, going back to the original point. And then Hampton is sort of an interesting game next week because their strength of schedule is poor. And they got waxed by William and Mary, but they're a team that can spike on any given day at home.
They're good offensively. They can score.
They can really score. And they've got an interim coach that just became the head coach permanently, and their kids are really playing hard for him. So that's a big one. And Monmouth has the #1 scoring offense in the country in FCS, and we go there on another great Villanova basketball football weekend. UVA, Villanova, Friday, November 15th in Baltimore. Monmouth in Jersey the next day on November 15 and 16. That is going to be an enormous road game for us. Think about those last two games. At Monmouth, Delaware at home. I look at these next 3 games as we got to take care of business. We got to get 3 wins in a row and set the stage for the last 2 games of the year at Monmouth and Delaware at home to be able to do special things and be a playoff team and hopefully a top 8 playoff team that gets a bye and doesn't play till December 7th. And if we win out, I'm convinced we'll be a top 8 seed at 10-2.
Sean, what's hard, I think, for a group like this is coming off, you're picked to win the league, so you have high expectations.
Yep.
You're coming off playing a South Dakota State team that's back-to-back national champion. You're playing closer than anybody. So you have these expectations. You think the hard part is staying in the moment. And not like Ryan and I get to do, talk about 5 games from now or 3 games from now in Delaware. It's trying to stay in the moment and say, how are we going to beat New Hampshire today? How are we going to find a way now to go on the road, which didn't work out well for us last week, and beat a Hampton team? So I think that's Mark Farney's toughest job is keeping these guys in the moment right now, kind of the 1-0 each weekend. It's not say, hey, who are we going to get in the playoffs? Well, we got to do a little bit of work before we get to the playoffs. Sure. If we slip up again, now you're a bubble playoff team. So I think staying in the moment for this group and for this staff is the most important thing.
Yeah,
right
and to your point there, from what I've noticed with Villanova since we have partnered here, is that the things don't tend to pile on. Like a game like that, a loss like that last week doesn't tend to go into next week. And it feels like they are ready for getting off to a good start in this game, making sure the things that happened in the first quarter don't happen in this quarter. And I always feel like Mark Franny does a great job of, like, last week was last week. All the things don't kind of pile onto itself.
And Jen, you're with us at the shows every week. When he talks about it, he goes, I really don't look at the stat sheet. We had more first downs in Maine last week. We were never in the game.
Yeah.
What you look at is the score, because that's all that matters, in turnovers.
Yeah.
Those are the two. And we had 4, which the 5th was a block kick. They don't call it a turnover, but it might as well be one, a scoop and a score for a touchdown. So that's the thing. We're an offense that needs to take care of the football to maximize our possessions, because we're not the throw it downfield, long, explosive play team we were last year with Hayek and Pringle and Sanchez. We're just not that team this year. We're more 10, 12 play drives, so we got to have no pre-snap penalties, no illegal linemen downfield, no holding. It's hard for 12 to 14 plays to maintain consistency, but that's especially with 3 freshmen on the offensive line. So this team is still, I think, a work in progress. I do think its best football is ahead of them. I hope it's ahead of them in like an hour. That would be really good.
That'd be great.
And we can have a really good afternoon, and all the fans that came back really enjoy it and have a nice dinner at about 6:30 after a Big Cats win.
Yeah, and look, I feel like some of the wide receivers are coming along, and that's something the passing game maybe in time.
Yeah, Lucas Kopecki's going to get his first start today.
Smith has also played well. So there's some things that are going well, but I feel like the offense and defense both kind of complement each other well, and that seems like something that, the identity always for Mark Ferrani is play well on the defensive line, offensive lines. He always preaches, being able to get your body physically in that kind of condition to be, big and be big on those fronts. But I feel like Villanova's done a good job, at least early this season, complementing offense and defense very well.
I'm a big box score guy, so I'm kind of disappointed. Coach doesn't look. I am. I just,
You've been playing too much fantasy. You got to have yards per catch. And
he's not good at it.
He's a numbers guy for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, one matchup we haven't talked a lot about that I think I'm really honing in on in this game is the 3 wide receivers for New Hampshire that can dramatically change this game, in my opinion. They've got size and they've got strength in Logan Tomlinson, who's got 48 catches on the year, Caleb Burke, and Joey Corcoran. These 3 guys are impact players that can really get their pass game. Statistically, New Hampshire does not run the ball well at all. They throw the ball well. got a veteran quarterback in Seth Morgan, who played 4 years at VMI and then went to a Division II school, Shepherd, and got his final year to play. I'm watching the injury and the health of Isis Waxter in this game. That's questionable / probable. I think he's going to go. I think he's going to start. But how he loosens up and is able to play today could literally be behind the scenes one of the biggest keys to this game, because of the passing attack with those three outstanding wide receivers that New Hampshire has.
And because of that, Ryan, too, talking to Ross Pennypacker, I think you're going to see more blitz packages from Villanova today. They don't want this quarterback to be able to sit in the pocket and find these three wide receivers. They're going to come after him probably a little bit more than Ross normally does. I think he likes to just rush three, let his linebackers do all the cleanup in the middle. But I think this is a guy, an offensive line, he feels he can get after a little bit. And I think you're going to see some blitz packages much more so than you've seen in the past.
We were talking about reading a box score, having some fun with that. And I'm just asking you guys because we're friends right here.
Are we?
Do you guys ever look at the spreads? These are a little bit difficult to find because we're talking about, not the major college football. But do you guys ever look into this?
I have not.
Do you know? Do you, Ryan?
Nope.
Do you want to know?
Yeah, nope. Sure.
Nope.
8.5-point favorites, Villanova. Yeah.
It's a 2-score win for us today.
Oh, I like that.
I like
Steve Pannone. Let's go from the top rope.
So you mentioned the pass. I know Mark Ferranti does not care about time of possession. That is one thing that he's made very clear on the coaches show. But I feel like time of possession is going to be a big thing here. As you mentioned with their passing game, that means New Hampshire probably wants to score fast. They probably want to get the passing game going. I feel like if Villanova controls the ball, controls the clock, I feel like that's something that could be very big, especially for their defense today, because their defense is kind of the heart and soul of the team. And if you get them off the field a little bit, that should be good for them.
Well said, John. The best way to stop his offense is don't let him get on the field.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're eating up clock every time and you throw a couple 3-and-outs in there, that's going to really – and like I say, let's make them one-dimensional. Let's get our passing blitz packages going and make them one-dimensional. That's kind of been Villanova's recipe, especially here at home.
And remember, 4 turnovers for Villanova last week, gave up 7 sacks, but starting center Jake Picard got knocked out because he was ill and didn't play literally almost the entire game. And then Kyle Fay, the starting right tackle, he got knocked out of the game in the third quarter. So 2 of the 5 starters today did not play a lot of that main game. And I think that was part of just the offensive line being out of sync. They're all ready to go today. And that's critical, I think, for a big bounce back win for the Cats from Villanova, not the Cats from New Hampshire.
We get this guy in a football uniform. Look at him. He's a big boy right there.
Playing slide trombone, too. Look at that.
It's good trombone knowledge.
Slide trombone. It's no joke. But here, band making their final walkthrough here.
Yeah,
Randy Floyd.
And Sean, before you go to break, I'm going to run off. I got to go call the game. But I just want to say thank you to Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia. Your partnership is great. What you and John have done for us. It's a
what
great
I have
partnership.
done, not Sean.
Yeah, no.
But we really enjoy the partnership. It's been great. I appreciate you putting up with me for a couple hours.
Steve, you're the best.
And it's been a great couple hours. And let's go, Cats. Let's get a win. And thanks, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow, 12:30 tip-off.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Excellent stuff
Thank
across
you
the board,
guys for
Steve.
everything.
Thank you. Ryan Fan is going to be on the call. Of course, Steve, you can catch him on television, NBC Sports Plus and Flow TV as well. The great Steve Pannone and Ryan Fan joining us here. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, do not go anywhere. Fox Sports Radio Philly Roadshow at Villanova Homecoming, presented by Friends of Nova. Friends of Nova, really, really important. You know why? Because they get the job done. And we're going to hear more about Friends of Nova from the president, the one and only Mr. Randy Floyd, is going to join us on the other side. Once again, live from Villanova Homecoming. More after this.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
Help the planet with a tip from iHeartRadio Earth. Education doesn't just take place in the classroom. There are many ways children of all ages can learn about sustainability and the environment at home. Visit iHeartRadio.com/Earth for a list of resources, activity guides, and toolkits that are educational and fun for the whole family. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Ernie Hudson here.
I'm turning 79 this year. And you know what comes with age? Wisdom. Like choosing to get an RSV vaccine. RSV is a highly contagious virus that can land older adults in the hospital. Adults like me, 75 or older, or those 60 or older with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes. Check eligibility and schedule an RSV vaccine at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Every 4 years, the world watches. Every corner kick, every save, every pass. The world watches its most beautiful game played at its highest level. And for a moment, the world stops turning for soccer. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026, supporting possibilities turned into achievements on the biggest stage. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. member FDIC.
Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Spreads, totals, and all the prop bets in between. It's The Gambler. Broadcasting live from Villanova Stadium.
There you go.
You are listening to the Fox Sports Radio Philly Roadshow at Villanova Homecoming. Presented by Friends of Nova. Now, here are your hosts, Sean Brace and John Jansen.
Oh, yes, indeed. You heard the man live from Villanova Homecoming. This is all presented by Friends of Nova. We got the Villanova band playing right next to our booth. I'm sure you could tell.
Listen to the sounds of Villanova.
Let's go.
It's beautiful.
All right, look, we're up against it. We're here till 3 o'clock, and we got a special guest joining us right here, right now. So we're going to power through this. I'm sure they got another ditty in them over there, I'm sure. Ladies and gentlemen, this man needs no introduction on this campus. I'll tell you what, super excited to have the president of Friends of Nova, the one and only Mr. Randy Foy here. Randy!
What's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Great to have you.
Appreciate it, man.
How you been? Well, I'm great. I'm glad to see you on the East Coast.
Yeah, man. It felt like my whole career in the NBA. It felt like I was on either in mountain cities or on the West Coast, but it does feel great to be back on the East Coast. I love the weather.
Talk about the homecoming here. The environment's unbelievable.
It's awesome. You know, when I'm playing here, you really never get a chance to be a part of this because we're always practicing or training. But in my role as the president of Friends of Nova over the last 3 years, I have been a part of this, and it's unbelievable. Seeing so many familiar faces. The band is right here in front of us, which is awesome. But it's just so much energy around our football program. It just gives me chills talking about it.
Yeah, this is a special day. Of course, you could tell all homecomings are special, but it just feels like there's a different energy, different buzz. You got a great football team, basketball team about to get started tomorrow. Randy, we got a lot of important things to discuss. First of all, also we have Nino Vanine with us, head of Play Fly Sports. My guy, we work together. Nino, how we doing?
Hey, Sean, great to be here. Glad to be here on this last segment with Randy Foy. And,
that's right.
Thank you guys for being here. This has been a great first ever road show and hopefully the first of many.
First of many. Yeah.
Yes, we will definitely be back. That's for sure. Now, Randy, as I said, we got important stuff to talk about here. The Friends of Nova. And I know you probably get this question 100 times, but if you could break it down for our listening audience. And really, I made this joke earlier. Like, I'll put Kyle to the side. I would say you're up there as far as importance is concerned with the men's basketball program. Hey, we know what makes the world go round.
It's all about the basketball program. It's all about our athletic department, man. I play a really, really small role, an important role, but a really, really small role. The way Friends of Nova works is we try to put ourselves in a position to make sure our athletic department can compete at the highest level.
Yes.
Normally, when you go into these different places, and you think about the way NIL is done, it's done in a way where, it's a pay for play, right? We try to do everything the right way around financial literacy, understanding that our kids are going to go into the real world one day. Everyone's not going to be a professional athlete. So what we're focused on make sure that we turn boys to men and girls into women when they leave here so they can come back to our community, 5, 10, 20 years down the road and make sure they get back to the university.
Friendsofnova.com is how you can get involved, and it's a great tagline here to help create a new era of success for Villanova student athletes. I mean, there it is. It says it's right there. It's just, I think a lot of us now, whether you pay attention to college games or not, you're starting to understand that NIL is super important. So to have somebody like yourself in this position as president of Friends of Nova, it speaks to the importance of it, right?
You know, when we first started doing this, I had a conversation with some really important people here at the university, and I thought this was going to be, to be honest with you, I just thought I was going to have to give my time and be a trusted face for, I would say, maximum 8 months. And I thought that a lot of things around the legislation would change in state and nationally. But as we get into the business of it and I start understanding everything that's going on, I'm like, this isn't going anywhere. So we need to prepare to put our athletic department in the best situation possible going forward. So for myself and our team at Friends of Nova, we have a wonderful team that's so passionate, works so hard. Our vision from the beginning was to make sure that every single person that we hired was a Villanovan. Every single person that came in understood that we didn't do things the way other schools in the South or other schools to the west of us, northwest of us, has done things. We did things in a unique way, where we have a small Catholic institution, and we have to protect that. And the way you protect it, you know, with our athletes, Friends of Nova is just a small piece of it, all right? But what we're trying to do, we're trying to make sure our student athletes understand that you have to take care of your money. We know we're going to compensate you, but you have to take care of your money. You have to understand from dealing with a lot of shady people in the room, dealing with some shady agents. We're trying to protect our community, and we're doing it the right way because our Villanova values mean more than anything to us. We're not going to do it the right way. We're not going to affect relationships with leadership here just to make sure we get a guy or we get a girl or we get a guy on the football team for a year or two. We're going to do it the right way, and the right way is doing it by trusting in our community.
Yeah, we have seen a lot, and there's been some circumstances that have even come up of UNLV, a really good example of this, of maybe not everything being transparent. Friends of Nova seems like you guys are being transparent with the athletes, transparent about, you know, the financial situations, everything going on. How important is that to be transparent with these athletes? Because we have seen some schools aren't, and it's leading to a lot of problems.
Transparency is key. What we try to do in the space is listen, we understand the landscape, right? We understand what the institutions are up against. We understand the legislation that the NCAA is up against. But what we're doing in the space is making sure that our student athletes understand we're going to do it in a Villanova way, right? Like I said, we don't play, you know, in certain conferences. We understand the Power Four conferences, right? But this is the Big East, right? And the Big East has always been great. The CAA with our football team has always been unbelievable. A lot of pros go from a lot of college kids from the CAA go directly into the NFL. JJ Outlaw, my first encounter here was my senior year in high school, where I was standing out tailgating with the basketball team, ready to make my decision if I was going to come here or go to another institution. And I'm standing there with JJ Outlaw, who became All-American, and he coaches now for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Brian Westbrook receives a punt return and takes it to the house. And just the electricity around our program, I was like, I want to be a part of this. And so I take those experiences from, you know, being around Villanovans, understanding what we do day to day to make sure what we have built here continues to, you know, is precious to us. So for myself and for our team, it's just something, you know, we tip our hat to the institution, but we try to do everything the right way.
Nino, I can't thank you enough for bringing us behind the scenes a couple weeks ago, and when we had an opportunity to meet Randy and, of course, Baker, who's doing a big deal for of course, Villanova Athletics. Playfly Sports and Friends of Nova working hand in hand. It's a wonderful combination, as they say.
Yeah, I think the term that, you know, we continue to with our team, Friends of Nova, Villanova Athletics, is alignment. And I can tell you from the seat that I sit in as general manager for our sponsorship team, you know, my colleagues around the country, everyone's doing it differently. But I can tell you for a fact that this place is special in terms of the alignment we have. You know, our team of 5 sits in the Villanova Athletics offices. Brian Beecham is here. Deputy AD, now interim athletic director right now. There's just continual alignment and total transparency between what we're doing, because we're all here for the same thing, and that's to uplift our athletic program to be the best. And so, I sit in a seat where we are out there talking to companies and brands and organizations to support Villanova athletics, but we want them all to know that there's opportunities now to work with our student athletes. And so that's my role. I play an even smaller role than Randy does in this whole enterprise. But we all have our role to play, just like on a basketball team. We all have our role to play. And really, we're in in year 3 of this new world.
Yeah.
And as Randy said, it's not going anywhere. And so, I think the Nova Nation is adapting and understanding that this is not going anywhere. And I think, look, once we tip off on November 4th, a lot of people are going to forget about all the stuff that people talk about in the offseason.
Sure.
And it's the name on the front of your jersey, not on the back. And we're going to go and play basketball games. Today we're going to go play a football game that we have to win. And so I'm just, really appreciative of the partnership that we have with Friends of Nova, with Villanova Athletics. And I just really appreciate you guys, Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia.
All love.
You amplify everything that we do. You're a mouthpiece for us, and we couldn't be more appreciative.
All love. Randy, got to get one last word from you. Obviously, we're up against it here. Big season, though, for the men's basketball team. They got a scrimmage tomorrow against Robert Morris, tipping off at noon. The outlook for this upcoming season, getting back to the tournament.
First and foremost, before we continue, look at how special this place is.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
We had Brian Beecham here. We had Dana O'Neill here, Jamie Young, Whitey Rigsby, Justin Miranda. And we just had our president of our university just pull up to the Fox radio show. That's our president.
How about that?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how special this place is.
Love it.
To get back to business, our team is going to be really good. It's a lot of hard work and passion that went into building this roster. Our coaching staff did their due diligence, make sure that the families want to be a part of this unbelievable institution. And then the student athlete comes into play, and we recognize it. We have a lot of new faces, but some of the cornerstones for our program, from Eric Dixon to Jordan Longino, those guys are special. And this is their last go around, and you can tell it's something a little different. A lot of times people see them on game day, but I have the pleasure of watching them in practice. And with me watching them in practice every single day, I know that this is going to be special. I don't know what that means in wins and losses, but I know we're going to play the Villanova way. And if you play the Villanova way, you have a chance to win.
Yeah, and Kyle filled in big shoes, obviously, and it's a big change for
to say
Nova.
the least. Yeah.
How comfortable do you think? Because I felt like here when he was talking to us, it feels like he's getting more and more comfortable being the head coach of Villanova.
If you don't pull for Kyle Neptune, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, and a lot of times I think you don't get a fair shake. We had to re-recruit Mark Armstrong and Cam Whitmore because they came in under Jay Wright. So Kyle Neptune came in with that task. He came in this crazy world of NIL, the first year that it really jumped off, where you had to make a decision around people who were really important to our university and did a great job for our basketball program. Do we keep them or do we let them walk? Because there's a lot of schools coming after us. I think sometimes in the space, people think that we're the only school that's doing it. Everybody's doing it, and there's a lot of people who have done it under the table for so long, but we have done it above board for so long. So if you're not rooting for Cal Neptune, I look at it as if you're not rooting for our institution. And no one is bigger than our institution. And so we have to, protect Cal and, just cheer them on and just know there's going to be a lot of good games and there may be some hiccups. But at the end of the day, if we're doing it the right way and we're playing the right way, we're going to have a chance to be successful.
Well said.
Randy, now that it is basketball season here, I know you do it all, don't get me wrong, but basketball season, I want to extend the invite. I told you I wanted to get you into the studio. A little bit quieter inside our studios up there on City Line Avenue. So please.
I gotta give a shout out to
all day, baby.
I want to give a shout out to my brother, Kyle Lowry, who's going into, I think it's year 19.
Yeah.
Just been doing an unbelievable job, man. Just wishing him a happy and healthy season this year.
Looked good last night for sure.
Keep doing your thing, brother.
I love, and in the video, he was giving Jared McCain the business. I was like, yo, come on, man, put the camera away. Respect the vets. Respect the vets. Randy Foy, we respect the hell out of you, man. Thank you for stopping by. Friends of Nova president right here doing big things. Get involved, people. Get involved. Once again, friendsofnova.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this has been a tremendous broadcast for us. John Jansen, thank you very much. Nino, Whitey Rigsby, Ryan Fannin, Mike Powers behind the scenes, Randy Foy, you the man, Dana O'Neill. The list goes on and on. Head coach Mark Ferrante stopped by. But the main course is coming your way here in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I still got work to do, Sean Brace.
New Hampshire and Villanova right here on Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia. Once again, tremendous honor bringing our first road show right here, presented by Friends of Nova. This has been a blast. Thank you very much to our guys behind the scenes, Sean Bernard and Nick McClay. McClay doing a bang-up job. Now, don't screw
throwing him in the fire.
Don't screw up in the next 5 minutes, McClay. Jansen will be there in about 30. Everybody, enjoy the games. Go Birds. And I will talk to you on Monday with a brand new daily ticket. But coming up next, Villanova, New Hampshire. Don't go anywhere.
With its new look and taste,